I am Jeff Biggs, and I am ready for some more deals to go down this week in Indy.
I am Marcus Mosher, and the NFL Combine is the best week of the schedule.
I am Iisha Morrison, and Javvante Williams coming back for another, 2 years, 3 years with the Cowboys is important to me.
Amen.
Glenn Stretch Smith here and present. Count me in.
How about them Cowboys? It's the Cowboys Squad. Everything Dallas Cowboys every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from America's team the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Cowboys Squad Show, starting now.
All right, here we go. It is the final week of February and some Monday Night Football here for you tonight on the Cowboys Squad Show. Tonight, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Let's give them a little bit of love right now. FanDuel, you can use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, we got to give it up and we start with our welcome to Iisha Morrison, blowing it up as always. We've got the co-host of the daily Locked On Cowboys podcast, Marcus Mosher, and former Cowboys coach, the one and only Glenn Stretch Smith. All right, we got a lot to get to tonight. The very latest on the Cowboys. George Pickens is set to be tagged. Lots of names for free agency. And what can we expect from the Combine in Indy? But before we get into that, over the weekend, Iisha mentioned it. Marcus, we'll start with you and we'll kind of go around. The Cowboys very kind of quietly, it's kind of popped up. They re-signed running back Javvante Williams, 3-year deal worth $24 million, 16 at least guaranteed according to the reports. Marcus, your thoughts on the deal, and does it mean anything to you that Javvante was first?
No, I don't think it means a lot. I think honestly, Javvante probably wanted to get it done more so than some of the other upcoming free agents because, listen, running backs just don't get paid that much in free agency, and there's only so many chairs available. And I thought, maybe rather than trying to risk going out and getting another $1 million or $2 million in free agency, he decided to stay in Dallas in a situation where he was going to get a bunch of touches. I think it makes sense for Javvante. I think it makes sense for Dallas to bring him back. He was really good last year. He fits the scheme. Personally, do I think it's a slight overpay? Yeah, I do. But is it a big enough deal to get upset about? No, not really.
Okay. Iisha?
Did you look at the details of the deal? How we got in the details, like the guarantees and all that stuff?
It's $16 million fully guaranteed. I think it was an $8 million signing bonus up front, but we haven't got any word on like how it's structured necessarily in terms of like base salary. But again, what we needed to know, the $16 million guaranteed over 3 years, it puts him at like the 15th or 16th highest paid running back in the league, which I don't think is far off from where he's produced over the last couple of years.
Okay, yeah, because I personally thought it was a bit fair, just given like where the market is and everything, and then also too, I know you've been looking at the draft, like what this running back class is as well. I think that free agency is going to be a little bit more rich for some of these veterans given the class. But for Javvante, I'm excited for him. He busted his ass. Got here from that ACL. Dallas scouted him. A lot of people had. I know we talked about it. I know all of us talked about it. Some doubts about what he was going to be, and he showed up. I'm hoping that Dallas gets him a stable 2-back just for the longevity of his contract. And he's still young. Javvante's just 25 years old, so I thought that it made sense for Dallas to go ahead and get it done and, kind of look at their pennies and quarters as they go into free agency or to the Combine week.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a guy that, he fits with what they want, which is he's a role model, great in the locker room, he's a leader. All the characteristics, he checks all those boxes. He came in here, he learned this offense. He understands. We've said it. I've said it 100 times. I'll speak for myself. He understands protections. He knows what to do. So I think there's a value in that. So Do I think it's, do I wish they could have got him on a 2-year, $15 million deal? Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, he fits with where you're at. I still think that this team is going to need to draft the guy. Now, I don't think it's anywhere in those early rounds, but I think there still needs to be, look off the edge of the hood and see where you're going to go from him, and then find out, quite frankly, and challenge Blue to find out if, does he really value playing football? And I think that's where they're at, and I think they got to figure all that out. But I think it's a good signing. I think it's somebody that fits here, fits with where Dak is, fits where the offensive football team is.
Jeff, I got into a little bit of trouble this weekend when I expressed some of my concerns about the deal. And honestly, it didn't have a lot to do with Javonte Williams, because I think he's worth around that much money. And I think the Cowboys valued not having another hole that they've got to go out and fill. But this is something that coaches talked about. When you're paying a quarterback $60 million, and he played to that level last year. This is not anything, with Dak. You've got to be very careful about how you spend the rest of your money. Every that you make is going to be under the microscope. Like if you're a team like Seattle and your quarterback $33 million, you have a lot more wiggle room when it comes to making your roster. I just wonder, with this offense already being the most expensive in the NFL, and now you've got another receiver in George Pickens who's set to make at least $28 million this year. Is it really wise to continue to invest this much money into offense? And again, that is not a shot at Javonte Williams. It's more of a big picture team building thing. I don't know. I think the Cowboys value the safety of knowing what Javonte Williams is. They've got to hit on their picks and free agent signings on defense if they have any chance, or if they want to have any chance of being successful.
I agree with you. I was thinking about it, though, on the other side of the coin. I mean, you look at what Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey make, and I know he's not at that level, but almost double, if not more, than what Javonte is going to make. Yeah, they could have gone a different route, but I like the fact that he's familiar with the system, had a great year, and as you pointed out, Iisha, he's still only 25. It's not like he's 29 or 30. So hopefully it will be a win-win. But to your point, Marcus, everybody's now saying, okay, this is going to impact the Pickens situation. Are we there yet?
Go ahead, Iisha.
I mean, yeah, I think it is going to, I think at the end of the day, it is going to impact how they, dictate where the money goes and everything. We heard Steven talk today and mention, they're going to franchise tag Pickens. And I think that that's because they're obviously, Marcus, you've talked about, are going to be trying to work the numbers. I see what you're saying, Marcus. I'm a bit on the fence about it, because I think that, like you talked about, Dallas doesn't want to have to fill another hole. Furthermore, Dallas is trying to help this defense, and half of helping this defense is to establish this run game and to keep this run game kind of on par. We already don't know what's happening with the offensive line from the tackle position and things like that. I feel like Dallas was just trying to do something that it's safe. I think you would describe it as safe, Marcus. Maybe that's how you would describe it. It's a safe thing to do. But I think it's more so has to do with, I think they were okay with paying it with not having the offense, with the defense having to come such a long way, to have the offense already still kind of together would be a good start.
I think my only issue is that they've had really good success the last couple of years signing guys to 1-year prove-it deals. We're having a guy like Rico Dowdle, who was fantastic in 2024. And then in 2025, you sign a Javonte Williams for 1 year, $3.5 million. They've shown that they can do this over and over again. Why not just sign 2 of those guys? Maybe you sign an Isaiah Pacheco, who is in a similar situation that Javonte was in last year, and another running back. Maybe you're better off that way. I think for Dallas, they felt like, yeah, we maybe could do that again, but we're willing to pay another $3-4 million a year to not have to worry about that position.
There's so much uncertainty.
You think either one of those guys can pass protect like Javonte?
No, I mean, I don't, but I do wonder.
Right. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Now you're talking about a $60 million quarterback, and neither one of those guys can protect worth a damn. And you're talking about a $60 million quarterback. Now, the first time one of them cheap guys cuts one of these linebackers loose on your quarterback, then what are you going to get on here and say?
I don't know. I'd probably let you say it before I said it. I mean, you're not wrong, right? That's one of the things I think they really value in Javonte Williams is his ability to pass protect. Now, there are other flaws in his game where I think, I thought he wore down in the second half of the year. He doesn't create a lot of big explosive runs, but they feel like it's a worthwhile trade-off because he doesn't get your quarterback killed.
Well, hang on here a minute, though. If you're going to, again, to me, you got to look at this from the bigger picture. If you're going to pay Pickens, you've already paid CD. You're already paid your tight end. Do you want a guy that maybe gets you 4 or 5 explosive runs, or do you want a guy that you absolutely have 100% confidence in he's going to scan the 2 backside backers if they turn the protection strong?
You're asking the wrong.
Remember, don't catch lockjaw, because then if he gets killed,
you're not going to like the answer. I would like the
now you got another.
He wants the explosive guy.
I want the explosive plays, right? Like,
see, but
I can put Hunter Lipke in the game to pass block. I can put another tight end in the game.
Oh my
if
goodness.
I want to pass block.
You look at too much film to say that. I hope.
Well, I mean, I can grab a running back like that, whether it's Brian Robinson or Najee Harris or whoever, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. I can find running backs at a veteran minimum contract to come in and pass block, but it's really hard to find the guys that
I don't think to the level that he does.
Fair, right? But what is hard is to find the guys that can take a 14-yard run and turn it into a 75-yard run. Now, I don't know if there's anybody in this class or the running back free agents that could do that. If Breece Hall was available, maybe that's the case, but
but that's not what they're doing with this offense. They're telling you they're telling you they're playing. If both these receivers are healthy, they're planning on push the ball down the field. And if you're going to run 5 and 7 strap drops, you better be able to protect.
I mean, I'm not opposed to. I mean, I definitely think that Dallas does need some explosiveness at the running back position, not necessarily from Javonte. I just don't think that's the type of runner he is. I mean, Dallas, when you look at Clayton Adams and what he did in Arizona, you saw them attack the outside zone a lot. You saw them do some screen game stuff. I think that Dallas didn't get to do some of that stuff last year, or they didn't do it as well as I would have liked to seen it be done, because that's not Javonte's game. When you talk about him wearing down towards the end of the year, I mean, he was the only running back out there for half of the year, most of the year. And then we talk about the pass protection. I think the next conversation is, to your point, Marcus, if he's not an explosive guy, that is what they should be seeking or trying to figure out what they have in blue I think that's the key to unlocking the run game. And the run game being a little bit more effective is having somebody that is a little bit more explosive. Because, Javonte is going to get you those dirty yards. He is a every down back. But as far as capturing the edge and things like that, no, that's not his game. He's not going to make a lot of guys miss in open space. He's going to run through your face. So if Dallas wants to do that, that's what my focus would be, just to unlock the run game a little bit more and make it more explosive. But you're not going to get that from Javonte Williams. It's just not his game.
I think you hit on it right there, Iisha. I mean, I think what we saw the second half of last season, that can't happen. I mean, Javonte needs to be fresh and at his best, and they need to find, if it's going to be blue, what their plan is, that they need to be able to have somebody that they count on that can come in and keep the offense positive and not have a big gap. So I don't know if that's going to be Jaden Blue or not. I don't know if they're going to bring maybe somebody else in the camp to push him, but clearly they need to have a legit number 2 back, I think, for the season, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get it, though? I think that's what they're trying to figure out. Do you pay for it in free agency? Do you draft it, or do you hope and pray that Jaden Blue is that guy? I've got my doubts. I also have my doubts about this draft class, which means that you're going back to the free agent pool and spending even more money on offense, which is an issue when you've got this many holes on defense.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, we'll find out, I guess, soon enough.
Sorry to bother you, Coach. I didn't mean to.
Well, then stop bothering me.
But I think I think that's a legit kind of underrated, under the radar question is, can Jaden Blue take that step? Because by year 2, I mean, you should be able to contribute, and you shouldn't have to be, either, not on the active roster or, just sitting on the sidelines. You should be able to step in, especially with the same offense, and hopefully be a plus. We don't know that.
My guess is they bring in another veteran running back, whether it is Pacheco or maybe it's someone like Kenny Gainwell, who had a really good year in Pittsburgh. I'm going to predict that they're going to sign at least one more running back, because they cannot go into the year with Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa being the primary backups.
All right. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. We got the big news, though. Javvante Williams is going to stay. What about George Pickens, and where do things stand with him? We'll get into that when we come back. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Got to talk to you, though, because it is almost tax time, right? Tax season doesn't have to take over your life, though, because this year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without any stress or guesswork. Now, here's a cool thing. Number one, like, instead of spending hours trying to figure out the forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person, or you can even do it online. And they handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms, and they really work to get you every deduction. That's really important. And you can also upload your documents, go about your day, get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives you real peace of mind knowing that an expert is handling it. So for a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, you just have to file by the end of this week, February 28th. Take taxes off your plate. Get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. All right. Great to be back with you, Cowboy Squad Show. We know that Javonte is here to stay now. The spotlight is back on George Pickens. You mentioned it earlier, Iisha, that Stephen Jones saying that the plan is to tag Pickens within the week, but they want him. They want to bring him back. They want to sign him long term. He's set. The Cowboys are set to talk with Pickens' agents at some point for the first time this week in Indy. I don't know. What do you guys? What is your gut telling you? What do you think could or could not happen this week, and what would you like to see?
Iisha, why don't you go first? Because I've got my thoughts, but I want to play off yours.
Well, see happen what? With Pickens?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens here?
I mean, I guess Dallas. Okay. Before I answer, Dallas gets a rep for franchise tagging people, huh? Like, I feel like a lot of people think that Dallas uses the franchise tag a lot, and they don't. Like, am I tripping? Like, I feel like
they use it. They use it twice on Dak Prescott, correct? They used it once on Dalton Schultz.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard had it. DeMarcus Lawrence got it one year, I believe, as well. There are teams that haven't ever used it, so they do use it more than average. Okay, but it's not every year.
Okay, because I feel like people think that Dallas uses it as like a screw you, and I think that they have in some capacity, but I feel like there's such a negative thing attached to the franchise tag, but it can be beneficial if it's done correctly. I hope that that's what Dallas is doing here. That's all I can say. Is that I think that they're trying to give themselves some time, alleviate things. Obviously they don't want Pickens to hit the market and be available to other teams. But I hope that they're able to work out a deal before the season starts, or when the season or through the season as he's on the franchise tag. But that's what I hope is happening. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I hope is going to happen. You seem a little bit worried. What about you, Stretch? What about you, Mark?
Go ahead, Stretch. What do you think?
I mean, hope is not a plan.
Jesus.
I I mean, do I think that they could get a longer term deal with him? I don't know that. If I had to bet my last $100, I can tell you that Jerry is still soured on dealing with his agent. And so now, does Steven jump in and deal with that, or is that something that they decide to do maybe collectively? I don't know. But watching Steven's posture today in Indy, it felt like almost like, hey, we're going to put the first crumpet out here, and we're going to say we're going to tag him this week. So I think that's the first, that's the first small step towards, maybe trying to get something done or starting to get some conversations going.
Yeah, it sounds like they haven't really talked, from my knowledge. There hasn't
No.
been a lot of
No,
talking.
you're right.
So the franchise tag is to your point, them starting to talk.
Here's my feel on this, Iisha. This is with no inside information. This is just the way I think this is going to go. I think they're waiting for David Mulligetta, George Pickens' agent, to come make them an offer. I don't think they're going to go to the table saying, hey, this is what we want to pay you. This is our offer. I think they're good just letting this thing play out. I think Pickens is a player that they want to continue to date. I'm not sure they're ready to marry him yet, right? I think they're good having him play another year in the franchise tag. And if he balls out and he's awesome and he's on his best behavior, maybe they revisit a franchise or a long-term deal next offseason. Now, is that what I would personally do? It doesn't really matter. I think they are totally comfortable letting him play in the franchise tag. And if that means him not being part of off-season workouts, I think they're fine with that as well. But I think they want to see what another year looks like before committing $35 million a year to him.
So is that not basically the same posture they took with Todd France, who's in that office too, and Dak?
Correct. And I think they used Dak's loyalty against him, and the idea that they thought Dak was going to show up to everything, he was going to work his tail off, and he was going to go into the season and have a great year, and he did before he got hurt, right? Like he was at everything. We'll see if that's the case with George Pickens, but I think the Cowboys know that Pickens was not somebody that a lot of the league wanted last year. And if he goes out and he has a bad year and he's not in shape and he's not ready to play and he's not on his best behavior, he's not going to earn a big contract next year. I think they're okay dangling that carrot in front of him, saying, hey, go have another big year and then we'll talk.
I like your
that
optimism.
worries me. I don't like that. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I like the optimism, but I'm just like on the other end of the spectrum. I won't go into it. I just don't think that they can get a deal done, because I think his agent is going to see the market as closer to $40 million a year as opposed to 28 or 35. And I just don't know if they can find a way to put that round number in a square hole, or vice versa.
But also too, I mean, the stance with the agent, that's about to piss me off. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but like, this is the business. He's not the only freaking agent that gets on people's nerves. He's not the only agent that, like, all of these players, a lot of these players have agents. A lot of these top players have agents. The Cowboys have been dealing with agents for years. What is this like? Oh, we're waiting for them to call, or we're waiting for him to call, whatever the case may be. Like, my God, I understand the Pickens, trying to see him earn things and see another year of him and everything. But like, it's a fine line. Like, it's a fine line of, we appreciate you being here. We want you on your team, but like, one foot is out the door. Like, we have one foot in and one foot out. Like, that's a rough way to be trying to operate and continue to think that that's going to build, chemistry and continuity as a team. I just don't think, like, I know that this is a business and I know that there's a lot of back and forth and stuff that I don't know about, but just the stance of like, okay, we're going to wait for the agent to call us, is because it's David Mulligetta and all that stuff. Like, this ain't going to be the first time you deal with him. He probably is going to have another star player So we're just gonna keep playing these games every time. This
Well,
agent
yeah,
is-
that's the whole thing's a game.
Yeah, I mean, Iisha,
it's a game,
it-
but like at one point in
it-
time, does it become about the team building and the player?
So what do you want?
I-
You want Jerry to reach out to him?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like you're gonna have to deal with agents. Like that is a part of this game. You just said it's a part of the game. So like this back and forth and stuff like that, it's not, I mean, I know that it happens every year. We go through it every year. I just don't think it's conducive to team building.
Iisha, do you know who the other player that was franchise tagged today? Did you see it?
Who was it? Who
Kyle
was it?
Pitts.
Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts.
Oh, I did see Kyle Pitts. I was surprised by that. I'm like, okay, Atlanta, y'all trying to figure some things out, I guess, because I thought they were gonna let him go after the
Do you know who his
disappointment.
agent is? It's David Mulligan. It's the same.
Okay,
one.
so is he like the Joker of
Well, I
agents?
think
Is he
there are
like,
there are
"Oh,
some
here's a flower,"
teams.
just kidding.
There's some teams that really struggle with David Mulligan as an agent. The Cincinnati Bengals were one a couple of years ago in the T. Higgins contract. Eventually, T. Higgins fired David Mulligan, and they got a deal done like 2 weeks later. It's not to say David Mulligan is a bad agent, but there are teams out there that really struggled to get some deals done. And I think there are other guys out there who have been leaked in trade rumors, like a CJ Stroud, who, again, David Mulligan, a candidate or a client. I don't think this is the easiest agent to work with. Is my
Okay, he has a rep.
Yes, he has
Okay.
a rep. He's got a rep of getting his guys paid a lot of money, but there's also a rep of maybe not doing everything by the book like some of these other agents have done before.
Thank you for that information, because I've been trying to figure out, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, why does everyone have so much angst about working with this agent and all this stuff? And that would make more sense.
Yeah,
Go
so Ian Cunningham wanted a long-term. That's the GM Atlanta wanted a long-term deal with Kyle Pitts, and then the agent started jockeying, saying, "Oh, he's really not a tight end.
He's a
He's
receiver."
removed from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
They played him this percentage of the snaps out here. They played him out here in the red zone. They played him out here." You know what they said? Go F yourself. He's a tight end, and we'll franchise him. We're not paying him $30 million. We're going to pay him in the $16 million range. So, I mean, that's just part of what I think everybody's doing. Nobody says that guys shouldn't have a certain agent that he feels comfortable with representing him or looking after him or looking after any of his off the field dealings. But I think that much in the same way that guys don't want to deal with the guy in baseball. Help me with the guy's name.
Scott Boras, I got you.
Yeah, Scott Boras. People don't want to deal with him. So, I mean, that's kind of where in my mind, that's where it's coming from on a lot of different angles. And then
and every client's different.
You go back to Jerry Jones, who's thought he had a deal with Micah, not or did, or whatever the scenario was. And then he was, coached into where he was. And then, hey, by the way, why don't you lay on that table over there?
Jerry comes from the oil field business, which is a lot of, I'm going to shake your hand, I'm going to look you in the eye, and that's a deal, right? And that's not necessarily the way that agents work.
He'll tell you that. He knows that. He'll tell you that.
Right. And he knows that's not and that's okay. It's the way agents, their job is to get the most money for their client possible. I think Jerry Jones, they've had some hard feelings. Do I think this is going to be a harder deal to get done? Yeah. But again, I also don't think the Cowboys are opposed to letting him play out on the franchise tag for obvious reasons. But I think if you're David Mulligan, I think there is some urgency to get a deal done now, because you know that this is a player that does not have the same market like a Micah Parsons had a year ago. It's not a player that 31 of the 32 other teams are going to want. It's why I won't be surprised if we ultimately do get some news here, because I do think it makes sense for both parties to get a deal done.
This guy was a year ago was available to all 32 teams for a third-round pick.
And nobody wanted him before the draft. Nobody.
Now I get that, but like, so what happens if he does everything that y'all are talking about. Like, what happens if he shows up on time, is on time for meetings, on the plane where he's supposed to be, has a great year, does all the stuff, then what? Is it another like,
Well,
oh, okay, well, we're
well,
still not sure.
And to Pickens' credit, if that happens, let's say he has a 1,200-yard season and 10 touchdowns, we're not talking about him suddenly getting 33, 34 million a year. Probably talking about him getting 41 or 42 million dollars a year and being the league's highest paid receiver, because he would only be 25 coming off back-to-back like all pro caliber seasons. It's why, again, this is going to be a really tricky negotiation, because I could see the argument for Pickens being like, hey, I'm playing with Dak Prescott. I'm making $28 million guaranteed. Let me show you again why I'm the best receiver in football.
And then if that happens, then Dallas is going to have to pay more, and they're gonna have to pay at that point anytime. So I feel like it's a risk. It's a risk, but obviously we'll see what the reward is. But I think it is a risk.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think this first meeting, if you will, between the two sides, I think we'll learn a lot pretty quickly about which way this is headed. We'll see.
You think there is a first meeting?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Right.
There will be.
They air condition the desert for guys that make those kind of predictions.
Please. Air conditioning.
I get it. I don't know that. I mean, if you looked at Steven's posture today, was, you know what, we have the hammer here, and we're saying where we're at. That's where we are. So, I mean, and he was asked, I don't know, I think it was Calvin or somebody was asking him a question. Do you still have the money to, then go shop? And he said, absolutely, we do. So I'm not sure. I would hope, from the Cowboys standpoint and from a long range, I mean, I agree. I think if he performs again, I mean, let's say you could sign him to a $300 or $100 million deal this year. I mean, that might be a good situation to be in. But from the posture that I saw today from Stephen Jones doesn't lead me to believe that they're in any hurry anytime soon to do anything except say, hey, we're going to tag him.
Okay. Well, we'll see. That's what makes the week so fun. And you're right. I mean, they may not talk at all, but I think it would be, hopefully, as Iisha said, hopefully it can be a win-win for everybody, and they can find a way to work out a deal and continue the building and fill up the other holes and still have enough money to go around. All right. When we come back, let's talk about the defense for a little bit. Speaking of money and signings and cuts, we'll do that when we return. Great to be with you on this Monday night. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Got to talk to you, though, about FanDuel, because if you ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person, well, FanDuel is giving you a chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Now, here's how it works. You use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience. Now, if you're already looking at the board and you're thinking about which team can make a deep run, well, now is the perfect time to lock it in. And futures this time of the year, whether you're picking a team to win the championship or grab a conference title, it adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. And now, not only can you pick cash, but you could also send someone to the finals. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, great to be with you on this Monday night. February almost done already. We're going to be in March, and man, training camp is going to be here before we know it. It's going to be awesome. But before that, we've got the NFL Combine coming up this week in Indy. Guys on the defensive side of the ball, really no surprise, but the Cowboys cut loose linebacker Logan Wilson, who they picked up during the season from the Bengals. not a surprise, but do you think we'll see more cuts coming soon to try to create some cap space to have more money to spend?
First of all, thanks for being back, Coach. I was a little worried that you were going to make it here for segment 3, but you're good.
Don't worry about me. I'm going to tell you, don't worry about me. Worry about the enemy.
There you go. If you're in my meeting room and you're late, I'd find you, but that's okay. I'm not going to find you.
That's fine. I got a lot of $100 bills, bro.
There you go.
A lot of them.
Do I think there's going to be more cuts? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more guys maybe on the edges, released. I think the big one they got to figure out is this Kenny Clark contract. He's got no guaranteed money left on his deal. He's set to make $22 million this year, which is, it's just too much money for the level of play that he's shown over the last couple of years. So you either have to restructure his contract, give him a new contract, or cut him. And I don't think they're going to cut him, but you really need to get that base number down because it's sitting at $22 million. It's just far too high. That's the player that I'm most interested in seeing what happens between now and the start of free agency.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with the edge room, as you mentioned, Marcus. I think that's going to tell us a lot about, we know that they're kind of switching what they want to do defensively. How's that going to impact? I wonder, but I also wonder, like, what they know guys can do as of right now. Like, who is going to fit in this scheme as of right now without kind of seeing it? I guess you would just have to go look at tape and decide. Who can
Stephen Jones mentioned that today. They asked him about Jadeveon Clowney, and he said, "Well, we're still evaluating." And to me, that sounds like maybe they don't think he's a great fit in this. Defense.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the case with some of these guys. Is like maybe they just don't fit what Dallas wants to do. What do you guys think happens with like a Sam Williams, with a Dante Fowler, who they had high hopes for? Those guys as well. So it just feels like we could look up in this edge room, could look a lot different than what we initially thought. It might be kind of empty at some point in time if they're starting from scratch in that regard.
I would be shocked if Sam Williams is back next year.
Me too.
Shocked.
Me too.
Now, Fowler's interesting because I actually thought Fowler played better than maybe what most people anticipate. And I don't think he's a bad fit in this defense. But they also need to get a lot younger. And I don't think bringing back Clowney and Fowler is necessarily the way to go. I think you maybe bring back one of those guys. But if they don't think Clowney's a fit, then maybe it would be someone like Fowler.
What about the safety room, gentlemen? We expecting any cuts from that room?
Well, there's only so many guys in that safety room right now. Malik Hooker's on the last year of his contract. Agent, by the way, David Mulligetta. You have Donovan Wilson, who is a free agent. You've got Marquise Bell, who the Cowboys signed to a new deal last year. You've got Wanye Thomas, who I think you need to figure out what's going on with him after he was put on the injured reserve list last year with migraines. I think that's a position that's going to need to be figured out. And honestly, it's probably one they're going to attack in free agency. I know the guy that we've all mentioned is Reed Blankenship. Iisha, you want to guess who his agent is?
Does this man have all the Infinity Stones?
Yes.
Is this man Thanos?
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't be surprised if we do get some David Mulligetta and Jerry Jones this week.
I am inevitable.
Yes, that's basically what it is.
Oh my God, he's everywhere.
Yes.
That's what he's working for. Absolutely. But I mean, again, I get there's kind of a, it's combine week and it's kind of mellow, but at the same time, right? I mean, free agency is going to be here before we know it. And like you said, I think it was you, Marcus, and you got to be ready to go. I mean, right.
Yeah, I think so. What the combine ends on Sunday, that's March 1st, and free agency is like a week later. Like it is a quick turnaround. Can we tell a little secret on this podcast, Jeff?
Yeah,
free agency really starts at the combine. Like, I mean, these teams and these agents and the GMs are all there. Yeah. The official start is in March, and we always talk about how there's the legal tampering, which is an oxymoron. The free agency actually starts this week. You're going to have teams talking to each other, talking to the agents, I think a lot of these guys kind of know where they're going to end up by the time we get out of this week.
Heck yeah, we're gonna start hearing a lot of rumblings and stuff from the people who are boots on the ground. We got a lot of people, Cowboys wise, we got a lot of good people boots on the ground that's probably gonna be pushing us information this week, letting us know kind of what the tea leaves are saying. I as somebody that's gone through the combine, I don't know if you've gone, Marcus. I'm sure you've gone stretches. Like when you did that nightlife, you keep your ears low to the ground. You're gonna start hearing some shit. Some shit.
I like that. We need more stuff, right? We need to hear more stuff. But I think too, right? I mean, you gotta, and I'm sure they do, obviously, but know how much you can spend, who you want to go after. What do you do if that guy signs with somebody else? I mean, there's a lot. This is going to be, one of the bigger off seasons, I think, in recent memory, right? Because they need to shore up this defense and put themselves in a position to have a contending team.
Yeah.
Stretch, any thoughts?
I mean, we can sit here and cut this up a lot of different ways. My initial thought is at the end of the day, I don't know how much value the new defensive coordinator places on Clark, how much value he would place on Williams, on Fowler. I mean, you just don't know. So I think I think you'll see pretty quick, or you'll start to get a feel for the direction that they're going.
Yeah.
Out of maybe one of these other one or two possible cap casualties that they would have. So, I think otherwise what you're doing right now is pure speculation, which obviously that's what we're on here to do. And that's what we're paid to do, is to speculate what may happen. I have no idea what value that this defensive staff puts on any of these guys. And so we just know what they're going to do. We just know what they're going to do in a regular down and distance situation, which is going to play 3 down and 2 overhang players. Yeah. And to me, if they do that values Kenny Clark. But if the money doesn't make sense, and I mean, at some point you're going to have to start spending some money on defense. So, and this kicker, but I think we'll see coming out of this combine. I think, by next Monday's show, I think you'll feel the tide and start feeling the tide in the direction that it's going.
Marcus, why you make that face when he said the kicker? What's wrong with you?
I kind of have a hot take when it comes to the kicker here.
I was going to get to that, but go ahead. Yeah.
Brandon Aubrey is awesome. He's unbelievable. He's a great player. I don't know that I would give him a big contract extension. And the reason is I think he's too good. And I know that sounds wild, but he ends up making Brian Schottenheimer be too conservative and settling for more field goals. And I know Coach likes settling for field goals rather than gambling to score for touchdowns.
Don't speak for me. I don't like gambling on a credit card.
I like it when teams are aggressive, and he's almost too good.
Because you ain't never had your ass fired.
I'm not from coaching, but other things.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Get your ass fired and see how aggressive you like to be. Get run out of the building, get somebody packs your boxes up, say, hey, you know what? Give me your key, and scrubs your thumbprint from the building, and gives you a good swift kick in the ass. And then let me know how it is.
I mean, I imagine it's not great. But do I really want to spend $7 to $8 million a year on the kicker when that could be a starting linebacker or a starting slot corner? I don't know. I think kicker is a position that's obviously very important. But the Cowboys
have that number from.
I just made it up. How's that? I wonder. And I've seen this with other teams. I'll use Pittsburgh as an example with Chris Boswell. They've relied on him too much to be so accurate that their play calling gets conservative, like once they get across the 30-yard line. I've seen teams before lose their kickers in the game, and it actually has helped them be more aggressive when it comes to 4th down decision-making. Again, it's not a slight at Aubrey at all, but I would be careful about overpaying kickers.
I think they ought to put you on the competition committee. Just get rid of kicking the football all together. Just go for it every 4th down.
Hey, it's an idea. I like it.
Here's the thing about Aubrey too. I mean, I agree with you in some of the conservative type stuff with Shoddy sometimes, but also too, hey, can we get some good starting field position so maybe we don't feel like we have to kick at the 50? Can we not start at the damn 10 every time we touch the ball?
Sure.
I mean, Dallas's starting field position this past year was like at the bottom tier of the league for certain parts of the season. I know that the return game, it's a collective thing. It's not just because of the returner, but the starting field position for this offense was poor all year.
Yeah,
and I think that played a huge role into why they were operating on those fields and having to, Aubrey having to kick a 50-yarder all the time and stuff like that. How about we try to,
Iisha, let me ask you this.
They had their opportunity to do that. They could have brought Fossil back here.
No, I don't know if he wanted to be back here.
Do they still have the chance to?
No,
he signed back, but you did at one time. He
signed back with Tennessee, didn't he?
Yeah, Iisha, Brandon Aubrey is a restricted free agent, which means the Cowboys are going to have to put a tender on him, which is probably going to be the second round tender. If a team offered you a second round pick for Brandon Aubrey, would you take it?
Huh? I mean, Dallas really needs one, but that's
stretch with you.
I would say no because you're going to be
starting pick for Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So you guys are like just
okay. So who's the replacement kicker? Who's going to replace him then?
So the record,
I don't know. I go to Notre Dame. Find me another one on campus.
I feel like we're going to be back where we started.
Yeah, it's fine. You can find kickers.
So you're okay with starting over a kicker again?
Sure, if it means they get a second round pick.
For a second round pick for a team that doesn't have one,
I'm just saying.
Hell yes, I would.
I would in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't.
I don't think you get that, but that's
probably not. But that's the tender, right? It's going to be a second round tender. We've seen kickers get drafted in the second round.
Again, you're not going to get that. But if you're asking me, would I?
Yeah, if the Rams. Yeah, if the Rams who have an issue at kicker, and I think they've got a late second round pick, like 60th overall, they offer you a second round pick for Aubrey, I'd do it.
But we don't have an issue with kicker. Why would we make an issue with kicker?
Because they're not that valuable.
What? How can we say they're not that valuable? We watch the playoffs. Like we watch when it gets cold. What are we talking about? It's not that valuable.
If they're easy to find.
I think Aubrey is special. I think he's a legit weapon, and I think a guy that you want to have on your team. That I don't think you should go conservative, like you said. Like I agree with you on that part, but I would rather have him on my team than not.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, I'd rather have him. Yes, but I do.
So you think that the offense can operate well? Despite even if he's not here, you think the offense will be fine?
I mean, I think so. It might make them a little bit bolder, which I wouldn't mind that at all. Give Dak Prescott the ball more often. I'm completely fine with that.
Okay. Now you interested me a little bit with the second round tender. If that were to if that was a possibility, maybe. But if it's going to be a third, goodbye.
It wasn't that long ago a kicker got drafted in the first round. Is that hard to believe?
I see it, and I will say in regard to kicker. I do think, I mean, I know it kind of goes underrated and stuff, but I do think we're seeing, I mean, this past year, when you looked at all these games, right? How many times did you see kickers cooking 50 yards plus and things like that? That's a norm now. That's not like oh my God, I'm so scared.
Where did Janikowski go to school?
Who?
Sebastian Janikowski for the Raiders. Where did he go to school?
Florida State.
There you go. You got it.
That's right.
Did I win something?
You won $100. I got you.
No,
nice.
Y'all just
I'll pay from the fine that you owe me. I got you.
Y'all's friendship be killing me. Killing me, y'all funny together.
So one final thing before our final break. So with all that said, Marcus, I know you and Landon have been doing a lot of, you started the draft preview shows. Mm-hmm. Has anybody stood out to you, or has anybody become maybe more of a fit on your wish list as you put these shows together?
Yeah, a guy called Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, who at pick 20, he's a slot corner, he's a free safety, he's a box safety. We're actually going to talk about him on Tuesday's show. Nice. In his fit with the defense, we're going to compare him to some of the other safeties in the class. So be on the lookout for that.
And do you put anything into Stephen Jones saying he was asked about whether or not they would be willing to trade one of the first round picks they have, when he said we're open-minded? Is that just a pat answer?
My belief generally is, Jeff, if Jerry or Stephen Jones is moving their mouth, they're lying. So,
ouch.
I honestly don't think they're going to trade these picks because I think they need these two defensive guys on rookie contracts. So, because if they're spending so much money on offense right now, I don't see them trading them for a high-priced veteran.
Okay. All right.
And so you're saying if there's 15 or 16 true first-round grades, and somebody calls and offers them a 2 and a late 1 to get to move up into that 20th pick, you don't think they'd do that?
No, I do. I don't think they're going to trade that pick for a veteran, but I do think they'd be interested in that stretch.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay. All right, let's take our real quick short timeout. We'll have our final segment coming up next. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Told you that was quick. Welcome back. We've got Marcus. We've got Iisha with 2 eyes and former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith. So aside from the Cowboys part, what else, what's on your radar for this week in Indy? We've talked a little bit about the rumors, maybe some contract talks. What else would you like to see or hoping to get a better feel of from this week?
I mean, I know for me, it's just getting the measurements, right? Like getting verified measurements on all these players because it matters, right? Like if you got an offensive tackle who's got 32-inch arms, we saw how that can show up in the biggest games like it did with Will Campbell and the Patriots this year. I want to see what guys at corner are running a 4.40 and which guys are running a 4.51 because that is a stopwatch position. I put a lot of stock into this week. And this is not to say that you go out and you draft the biggest and the fastest guys because that's misusing the combine information. But you want to see guys check boxes. And for me, that's why this week is so valuable. And guys like Mansour Delane, you want to see him go out and run a 4.45 40-yard dash, not a 4.55. You want to see a guy like Sonny Styles test off the chart at linebacker. It's all about checking boxes, and that's how you get the most out of this week.
Nice. Good answer, Marcus. That was good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, the measurements are important especially we got a lot of itty bitty corners in this class. A lot of itty bitties that are really feisty, can play the game, but like we just want to get a better look at their size, arm length, things like that. When it comes to the offensive line, I know that we haven't talked about it and maybe nobody wants to talk about it that much, but Dallas is always in the business of trying to continue to build the offensive line. I don't think they go early rounds this year, but I do want to see, some of the offensive linemen and their movement, what they're able to do, because I do think that Dallas needs to continue to be looking there, despite the fact that I know they feel like everything is kind of together for them. And then also too with the defensive ends, I'm really curious to see these 3-cone drills. I'm interested to see how some of these guys look like, how fluid they look like having a drop and, go from sideline to sideline, especially with Dallas kind of switching to more of a 3-4. These guys might have to do some of that. So I want to see what they're able to do.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be interested to hear about some interviews too. I mean,
absolutely.
I want some guys that don't think the Kentucky Derby's a hat. I mean, I agree with Marcus. I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I don't want to, I don't want some offensive guard to pull his shirt off and see a navel that can hold a 3-liter Dr. Pepper. I mean, I think some of that stuff does matter.
Dr. Pepper, the official sports drink of the Locked On Cowboys podcast. Putting that out there.
He must
Not really,
be
but I hope it is.
He must be stopped.
Coach, have you ever been in those interviews when you're asking these players questions?
Yeah.
What was the best question that you had for somebody?
Number one, it wasn't me asking. It was the offensive coordinator. I mean, I was just I never got the bullhorn in that scenario. Normally it was kind of, I was kind of, as guys would walk away, I might say one thing or another. But I mean, I think that, I don't ever want to call out certain guys, but I mean, I'm telling you, there were a couple guys that I can remember that you sit back in your chair and you think, man, this guy's a college graduate. I mean, it's I do think those things matter. I think, they used to get after that Wonderlic test and all that stuff. I mean, I think there's something said for that, being able to think quick, being able to have quick decision making. I do think there's something to be said for that.
You do this long enough and you talk to enough players. I don't think you can ever go into an interview and think, okay, this guy's going to be an all-pro coming out of an interview, right? But there are times where you get done talking to a player and you just know, like, hey, this is not going to work out, right? And I think that's what the combine is for, is really trying to eliminate players for consideration. And a lot of times it doesn't even have to be an answer. It can be an attitude or the way that they're handling the interview. And that's why you'll hear teams ask these players very random questions just to see how they react. Most of them handle it pretty well. They've been trained to handle it well, but there's a couple that'll tense up when they get a question they don't like.
I mean, I remember I loved Hines Ward at Georgia. I absolutely loved him. I thought he was absolutely everything you looked for. And we got to the combine, and when they said, that his medical was not going to check out because he was missing actually one of his ligaments in his
ACL.
knee.
Yep.
I mean, and we were throwing him off the board. I mean, I can remember, just being like, where I was like, God, that is terrible, because I mean, he was awesome at Georgia. He would knock your ass off. He would do whatever you asked him to do. And I did. I loved that kid. So I think it's more about, being disappointed in the times that I was disappointed. Like, God, really? I mean, that guy's, and that changes your whole career path. I mean, think about that. He goes to Pittsburgh. I don't know how long he played, 10 years, whatever, how long he played, never really had an issue with it.
Yeah, the medicals are important for the combine. I mean, some of these team doctors, some of these teams, we might have little bits and pieces of what's going on with a guy, but to your point, Marcus, we're gonna find out what's really going on with a lot of these guys, and we could see, some players draft stock drop or be okay. I think about a Mesidor, who people are concerned about his Akeem Mesidor. People are concerned about his medicals. He's a hell of a player, disruptive all over the field, but what are his medicals going to check out as, especially with a foot injury from a guy like that? That's going to be important for his draft stock. So I do agree that it's going to be, I think about a R.L. Mason Thomas, the edge. I think that his medicals are important as well. He should be up in the conversation of some of the top ends. How he checks out is going to be important too. So the medicals are the most important thing to me, because ain't no line in there. Ain't no line for the combine, or height or weight.
And that's why the combine got started, and it's why they've done it in Indianapolis all the years, because there's a lot of MRI machines within walking distance, right? So they can get all these players through all the tests that they need to, rather than having them go all the way across the country. And that's really the most valuable thing we can get from the combine, is the medical reports. And unfortunately, us as fans and reporters, we don't get them, although they'll get leaked out over the next 2 months.
Yeah, they will.
Coach, did you coach, was Hines Ward on the Steelers in the Super Bowl when you beat the Steelers?
Yeah.
So you got to coach against him anyway.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I mean, it was I'm telling you, I've seen him multiple times since then, and I always go up to him and go, I was the one that championed the crap out of you for a team that didn't get you.
Nice. Well done.
I got a good Hines Ward story, Jeff. I can tell real quick.
Please, yeah.
When he was a 5th round pick out of Georgia, he came to our high school to play at a basketball game. And after the game, he was signing autographs. I had my Deion Sanders jersey on. He told me he wouldn't give me an autograph unless I took it off. Didn't take it off because I'm a proud Cowboy fan. I said I didn't need some no-name 5th round receiver from Georgia. I was good. He wasn't going to amount to anything.
Oh, no.
Look at that, though. You stood your ground, though.
So my ground. Yeah, I'm not going to let little Hines Ward bully me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Little Hines Ward.
All right. Before we go, Marcus, what do you and Landon have coming up the rest of the week?
Yeah, so Landon and I are going to get into a really big debate on Tuesday discussing the Best safety in the class outside of Caleb Downs, Dylan Thiedemann versus Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Check that out on Tuesday. We're going to get you ready for the combine. Players the Cowboys are going to be talking to, guys that we're interested in. Make sure you're on the lookout for that.
I love it. Iisha, what do you got?
Stand by and we'll show you a little something. Don't sign off yet. Go ahead.
I'm going to be on With the Stack with Brian Broaddus and Zach Wolchuk. We will not be having a show tomorrow because Brian is traveling to the combine. But we will be having a show on Thursday that will air at 3 p.m. He's going to be boots on the ground, pushing out any information. And we're going to be talking about, just some of the reports, some of the information coming down and getting a better feel for these guys, getting some stuff confirmed and some stuff denied. So what you got?
What do you got, Coach?
Right. I don't know if I can say, that's Dion signed his shoe after we won that Super Bowl.
I like it.
Yeah.
There
you go. So you got your jersey.
No, I'll send you my address afterwards if you want to ship that over.
Dang, I ain't got nothing that cool, y'all. Y'all got all this cool stuff. Paraphernalia.
Yeah.
What do you want shipped over?
Those cleats, they look nice. They look great hanging behind me.
What's wrong with y'all?
Prime time. All right, guys. Hey, great show. Enjoyed it very much. We could keep going, but thank you. Have a great week. We'll do it again on Thursday night. And again, we're just closer and closer. March will be here before we know it. We got the combine coming up this week. Make sure you check out Marcus and Landon and also Iisha on her shows. We'll be back with you again on Thursday night. This has been the Cowboys Squad Show.